Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Becca with House of Lenormand. Today is Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. And I just finished a reading with what was happening or what happened with what was going on inside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell the night that, he left this plane, I guess is the best way I can put it. I did some throws and I didn't feel comfortable posting those because, those would have been some serious allegations. But there was a sequence there that showed up that reminded me of the Grand Tableau. So I went ahead and recreated it here. This is the Grand Tableau that we had done for Donald Trump Jr. back on July 25th. And I had done this spread because on the Donald Trump's original Grand Tableau, I wasn't able to tell the difference between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump Jr. because they were both showing up as the dog. So I decided to do a Grand Tableau for Donald Trump Jr. and designate him as the man, Epstein as the dog, and the woman as Ivanka, and the bear as his father. So let's take a look here because I'm going to go through and pull out Epstein's line because what I found there was very, very interesting. As you can see here, Donald Trump Jr. is at the very, very end of the tableau. He's exiting the tableau. I can't see what's coming in for him. I can only see what he has to deal with before he can move on. So this was done July 25th, and I went from July to October 2019. Because he lands here, this is everything that's going on before he can move forward. Everything that he has to deal with before he can move forward. He also lands at the very, very top of the tableau, which means that he's got some pretty good ground. He's pretty well in charge of all of this stuff. Ivanka Trump is far from him. Jeffrey Epstein is far from him. The closest person he has here is his father, which I designated to be the bear. If we look down this line, Donald Trump Jr. is in the house of the coffin. That means there's something that is going to be ending for him. The fox lands in the house of stars. This could be saying that he will be investigated for something, or he may be the star witness to an investigation that has to do with a secret affair for a career opportunity. This is this right here. He is under investigation, I believe, still for the FEC violations. However, there's more going on here. This is his father's line. Donald Trump is under investigation. He's going to be found guilty, and Donald Trump Jr. is going to be the star witness. The bear lands in the house of Fox. That's someone in a position of authority that's being investigated, or someone in a position of authority that's being quite cunning and manipulative. They're being found guilty, and he's being, he's going to have to speak as a star witness. You can see here down this line, the scythe lands in the house of tree. There's a danger to his life. There's an investigation going on that puts him in danger for his life. The ring lands in the house of mice. That's a criminal conspiracy. The mice lands in the house of rings. So these two are mirroring each other. So there's a criminal conspiracy going on here, or there may be something also to do with stolen jewelry, or something that is of high value that was stolen. Not necessarily money. It would be like a physical material object. And with the mountain right next to it, this could quite literally be like stones that are used for jewelry. Okay, and here's the career opportunity, but he's part of a criminal conspiracy here, and he's guilty and being investigated for it. Also, the child lands in its own house. So it looks like part of that criminal conspiracy not only has to do with covering up the affairs that his father had in order to give him an opportunity for his career. It could also be talking about being part of a criminal conspiracy here and here with Jeffrey Epstein down this line over here. This is Jeffrey Epstein. The mice land's over here. Also, it may have something to do with stolen rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like stolen rocks that are used for jewelry, and also because the mountain lands in the house of Lily's, which would be old rocks. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Or white rocks. So this could be talking about stolen diamonds or something like that. There is a lot to go through here, but I am going to pull out Jeffrey Epstein's chain of houses because I wanted to go over that with you guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So I went ahead and pulled Jeffrey Epstein's line, or his chain of houses, from the grand tableau that we had done for Donald Trump Jr. We're not going to read this as pairs because this is only meant to be read across. What we can do is we can mirror, but I had to set it up in this format so that it would fit within the frame of this video. So what we have here in Jeffrey Epstein's chain of houses is we have the dog, the writer. So the dog was in the house of the writer was in the house of Birds was in the house of Whip was in the house of Sun was in the house of Bouquet, the Bouquet was in the house of the fish, or I'm sorry, the ship. The ship was in the house of Scythe. The Scythe was in the house of Tree. The Tree was in the house of Man, and the Man was in the house of Coffin. Okay? Jeffrey Epstein was going to talk and expose the sexual, all the sex stuff that was going on, and the gifts were being brought in from overseas. And here's a danger to Donald Trump Jr.'s life right here. There is a danger to his physical body, and this man is going to have a loss. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. There's someone or news coming in for Donald Trump Jr. that has to do with a conversation about someone's life and the abuse or the weapon that was used, or how he got his butt beat and hung himself. There's a weapon that was used here, and there was a message that was sent from someone overseas concerning a gift. So we all know that these people are running with some seriously dangerous people. We do know that they're involved with all sorts of foreign mobsters. So, and from that previous reading, there was 2 people that came in to see Jeffrey Epstein. And he was going to, they shut him up before he could talk about all this stuff that was going on. The sacks, what was being handed over, where it was coming from, and that news is being delivered to this guy. I don't know if this is saying, hey, you're next, or hey, if you don't cooperate, this is the message that we're sending. But the coffin is right next to him. Okay. Typically this is a loss and an ending. It could also mean that this is a seriously depressed individual. However, what's concerning me is these 2 that are coming up before him. There's a danger to his life right here. In the original grand tableau that we had done for Donald Trump, I'm going to show you the sequence that was showing up for Epstein that I thought was Donald Trump Jr. in that reading, but it turned out to be Jeffrey Epstein with the arrest at the airport. So, and the reason that I thought it had been Jr. was because of the tree and the birds. That's a sibling. Okay, but look, this is the same. It's the same sequence. His life was in danger if he were to talk. So, with that said, I forget which way these go. Oh, this was here. This was here. and this was up here. So yeah, they're sending him a message, whoever this is, and I'll put the grand tableau back up so we can go through it together. I'm going to have to split up that video into a few because there is just so much information there. It's a very complex, complicated read. There's no way I'm going to be able to get everything in there in 20 minutes. Especially if we start following the chain of houses and we start knighting and all. It takes forever to read. But this is what was going on. Jeffrey Epstein was going to talk and spill the beans on all the sex and everything that was coming in. And there was gifts that were... This is central to this line. This is an 11 card line. That's the main thing. That's right in the middle that separates this line of 5 from this line of 5 is the bouquet. And the bouquet is, those are gifts. Something that makes you happy, something beautiful. I'm not seeing the child here, so I can't necessarily say that, you know, the pretty young things that were the children, although in the grand tableau it does knight to the child, and the child is in his own house, but we'll go through that. So anyways, his life is in danger right here, cutting your life or your body, you go there. So I'm sure homeboy's shaking in his boots right now, or has been since the news came out. Let me put up the grand tableau again and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So I had to step away and I'm back, so I kind of forgot where I was at. So to recap, I put out the grand tableau again. I recreated it, and I wanted to note that I had designated the man to be Junior, the dog to be Epstein, the bear to be Trump, the woman to be Ivanka Trump. As I discussed earlier, Epstein is far, Ivanka is far. The only thing close is his father right here. The ring lands in the House of Mice. The mice lands in the House of Ring. That's a criminal conspiracy and quite possibly also stolen jewelry or something that was stolen that was of high value, but it has to do with jewelry. Another thing to note, the key lands in its own house. The child lands in its own house. Those are very important because the thing going on with him in this grand tableau is the criminal conspiracy involving children. Okay. Ivanka Trump here, she's involved in the conspiracy and she's quite worried about it because there is some sort of a document here that she's confused about or is causing her a lot of trouble. And she's literally quite worried about her brother's life. The tree lands in the house of man. The man lands in the house of coffin. The coffin's down here at the end of a life. Okay. There's a document also that has perhaps her name on it or something that she wrote or something that links back to her that's on a document that has to do with a delay for something that was old, and the sex ring coming to light here, because this is the sex ring here with the ring and the criminal conspiracy for the sex ring, which is right here with the ring landing in the House of Mice and the whip being right under it. That's a sex ring that was going to be exposed by Epstein because the whip is in the house of Sun, okay? And that was going to be a career opportunity here. Like I said earlier, when I pulled out the line of 11, when we were following the chain of houses for Epstein, Junior's life is in danger as well. He's 2 cards removed from the scythe, but the scythe is in the house of tree. The tree is your body, your physical body, your health. Whether that is emotional, physical, or spiritual, it is your body, okay? The scythe lands on top of that. So the scythe is in the house of tree, and the tree is down here on his house. He's super worried about his life ending right here. Um, this here is the line of fate, which is talking about something significantly important for him. And the important thing is that he's linked back to the children. He's also broke here. The coffin lands in the house of fish. That's your money and your business. There's choices that need to be made that are long-term, but he's lied about it, because the crossroads lands in the house of anchor. The anchor lands in the house of snake, and the snake is right there next to, the snake is in the house of clouds, which comes back down here. He's lied about his money, and it's causing the family, well, him and his sister, and well, his dad too, a danger to their lives. Here is the career opportunity, but this is what's going to find his father guilty, because the coffin, or I'm sorry, the moon lands in the house of cross. The cross is in the house of his father, which is the bear, and the bear is in the house of fox, which his father is being investigated and he's going to be guilty. This here is talking about an arrest at an airport, which is what had come up with for Jeffrey Epstein. So there's something going on here with the financial institution, because the fish lands in the house of the tower. So that's like a bank. It could be multiple banks as well, because the tower lands in the house of crossroads. That's multiple banks, and it also nights here and here and here and here. So it looks like there's something going on here with a bank that has something to do with public affairs, or how they're getting money from parties, and a transfer that has been delayed, or not being able to get away, not being able to upgrade. And this right here is the multiple banks, the criminal conspiracy, and lying about affairs. When you go down this line, there's an older regal family that's delivering a message. This could be verbally, because the writer lands in the house of birds, and the birds is right before it. So a very regal family could be delivering a message that has to do with children and how his father's guilty of it. That has something to do about an organization that has affairs, and that's what's putting his life in danger, and he needs to pay up, or he doesn't have the money to pay these people off. This family right up here, if we follow this line, Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of parties where a lot of people would come over, and that's where they were getting the gifts from overseas. There's a regal family that is dangerous to his body, or is dangerous to physical bodies. This family is foreign here, and they're powerful here, and they're connected to his father. I'm wondering if it was Epstein that introduced his father, or perhaps him or Ivanka or whoever else, to this royal family here that's dangerous, to get them some sort of a deal through a bank, a financial institution, with the sex ring here, or the trafficking here, because that's what's putting him in danger. This line here is talking about something coming to light here that has to do with gifts, and a foreign danger, and someone speaking about aggression or sex, and that was going to be Jeffrey Epstein was going to spill the beans on the children, and how his father was involved with it, and the family as well. The family was involved with it as well. And the sex ring, the ship is very, very far from the whip. It doesn't even night. So I can't say trafficking, but the trafficking did show up. The money laundering and sex trafficking did show up in Donald Trump's original grand tableau. It was like down here somewhere. So here we're seeing that there's an upgrade or a change within the family, a family friend here. This is Epstein, that was able to provide the money through financial institutions for perhaps funding parties or funding like big affairs that were within a large organization, like an organization where people were coming to for affairs that perhaps they were flying to a remote location, and there's multiple banks involved in the criminal conspiracy that was being covered up to lie about these affairs here. And then we can see here that Ivanka Trump is quite worried and confused and worried for her brother's life, because there's a document here somewhere that links her back to it or has her name on it that may have to do with old rocks. And the reason that I say this is because this could be stolen jewelry and this is old rocks, and perhaps that was payment back to these people here. Maybe they stole jewelry or something. And here's the sex ring and the career opportunity for his father. If we look around the ring here, which would be the criminal conspiracy or the stolen jewelry, we can see that his father is under investigation. There's multiple institutions, whether this is courts or FBI agents here, because the tower knights over to the Fox. Multiple investigators and FBIs and whatever is looking into him, and those institutions have been delayed, so that's going to take a little bit of time. And then here we're seeing that his father is guilty of criminal conspiracy and some sort of sex ring that links back to him, that links back to Epstein. And we're also seeing the investigating the star witness here for covering up the affair for his father's career opportunity. This here is Donald Trump being investigated for the criminal conspiracy for an opportunity for his career. The investigating the star witness for the criminal conspiracy to obstruct and perhaps delay. And we're seeing the guilt here for his father as part of the criminal conspiracy. And this is some sort of an arrest at an airport, but it's far from Epstein and it's closer to Junior, but it doesn't fall directly in his line. It's a little bit before him. So it's kind of hard for me to figure out what that is. He knights here to the bear. His father has been lying and he's under investigation by multiple institutions for obstructing, and he's going to be found guilty for the opportunity that he took to weasel his position here for his career. But Junior is completely and utterly broke. Like, this is bankruptcy. This is no money. This is like all of your funding is lost. And the fish also knights here. So, but the link goes back to the children. They were involved in the sex ring. And this is the money. This is the sex ring. So it's everything in between. So it looks like Jeffrey Epstein made the introductions to an old family to be able to finance them through this sex trafficking thing, because there's financial institutions here, multiple financial institutions that were involved with these parties and the transfer, flying back and forth to remote locations. The gifts were overseas, and Epstein was going to, or there was going to be someone that was going to be delivering a message verbally about the remote location that had to do with an old family, also perhaps old rocks. I think we've already discussed this, an old family that's quite dangerous, that can cause physical harm to the body. And that goes back over here, that lands right on top of Donald Trump Jr. and he goes back here. So I'm wondering if somewhere along the line, someone, whether it's these people, a foreign family that is dangerous, because the ship lands in the house of Scythe. The Scythe lands in the house of Tree, so that's damage to the physical body, like cutting the body. And the Lily's in the house of the house, so that's like an old, like a very regal family that's very, very dangerous, and they're foreign. That was perhaps financing them through banks here and here for them to do this, and that's how they got all wrapped up in it. It's quite difficult to tell. Well, actually, I could if I spent a lot more time with this thing. Let's see. So we went over the criminal conspiracy here and the sex ring there. Jeffrey Epstein, I can only see right here and down his line and his line of influence here. So we followed this line of influence here. Jeffrey Epstein was going to deliver the news about something dangerous that was going on overseas, that had to do with financial institutions, and that's what put Donald Trump Jr.'s life in danger. For there was something going on where he was looking for multiple opportunities to perhaps what do you call it, make it permanent, but make something permanent. But he was lying about it and covering it up, and it goes back to Ivanka. And you know what I'm wondering? It had been a few years ago that there was an article that had come out that this lady right here was laundering stolen diamonds. There was a court case against it, and I believe Trump and his lawyers paid the attorney general at the time. Well, I don't know if they paid him. They call it a campaign contribution or whatever. And somehow the case disappeared. But his life is in danger right here. His life is in serious, serious danger. And I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from, because this is a dangerous family that can hurt his physical body and put him here. So I'm wondering if they sent the message through this guy's death here, like, hey, we did to him what we'll do to you next if you don't pay up, you know. The agreement here was criminal, but they don't link, this doesn't link back here. Okay, so let's follow this. An older family that was his friend, and he delivered the news to talk about the sex that he was going to expose, about the gifts that were foreign that got him killed here, and then he's going to suffer the same thing if he doesn't pay up to the financial institutions, the multiple financial institutions, not multiple agreements, but that would be like a permanent choice, but he lied to cover up or cause problems. There's something here to do with the document that has her on it, and she's covering up an affair that took place at a party for a career opportunity here that has her father guilty, that he's being investigated for. That there's some sort of a transfer or flight by air to a remote location. Let me see. 21. Where is 21? To a remote location that goes back to this family. That was a long chain. And his is even longer. He has an ending, and then there's a financial institution that has permanent decisions that he lied about and covered up that have to do with Ivanka Trump, who has a secret about an affair that took place in an organization or a party to advance a career that her father is guilty of, that he's being investigated for. Something to do here perhaps with the media or a socialite, or something that happened at night, for a transfer to a remote location. Something old or something, or an older family, a regal family that Jeffrey Epstein delivered, and they talked about the sex that was going to be exposed because it had the gifts that these people, something foreign here, cut off from his physical body, which goes back to him. So it looks like he suffered a loss, and I'm thinking from that chain, and that's a very, very long chain. I think that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's like I think that chain is like, yeah, there's 33 in that chain. 33 cards around this whole thing to get that chain. And homeboy is in trouble. Homeboy is in serious trouble because it looks like he's broke. Like he is absolutely broke, and he needs to pay up, and the link is through the children. I don't know, and I can't tell from this because he's all the way back here at the very, very end. I cannot tell from this if the family has been absolutely broke for a very long time. They got involved with these people here through Jeffrey Epstein and started taking in gifts and money through trafficking children here to continue with their lifestyle. And when he got busted and they killed him so that he wouldn't talk, if that puts Junior back in danger, because now that source of income is gone. That income is gone with the coffin landing in the house of Fish. But this right here is saying that the link goes back to the kids, and that source of income is done. It's absolutely done. So he's going to have to try to find something new and find himself a new career or something like that. And perhaps the new thing after, what am I trying to say? I guess what I'm trying to say is, not only did they cheated to get his father into a position of authority because they're absolutely broke, and that was one way right here with the child and the child and the key. That was one way that they were bringing in income. It could also be, since that is drying up, that they got their father in there to try to, he's been profiting off the presidency since he was sworn in. Actually, he was probably profiting off before that, to get income to pay these people off, because his life is in danger right here. His physical body is in danger here, and with the scythe landing in the house of Tree, and the tree goes back to him, and he goes back over here. So I can't tell you that he paid for Jeffrey Epstein. I can't tell you that he put a hit on him, because the coffin is right on him. It is right on him, and his life is in danger up there and up there. This could be talking about, this line right here could be talking about aborting a child, but there's news that comes in with the woman that, no, that child is still here, and there may be multiple children as well. So I'm at 22 minutes. I think I'm going to cut that off here. There's still a load of stuff to go through in here that we barely even scratched the surface. But just to recap, there's a criminal conspiracy. They're all in on it with the trafficking of children and the sex ring that links back to Jeffrey Epstein. there's a royal family here that's putting his life in danger, and he's going to be investigated as a prime witness here against his father for covering up an affair with that and a career opportunity here. And there's the sex ring there. So I can continue this on later on down the road, but I'm going to wrap that up here for now. Thank you so much, you guys, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.